The Labor Department reported this week a stunning number of Americans quit their jobs in the month of August. The same report showed nearly 10.5 million jobs remained open through that month. So why are workers leaving their jobs in droves and not taking the millions of new ones available to them? Economists point to a number of factors, including a reassessment during the pandemic by Americans who want more from their work. NBC's senior business correspondent Stephanie Rule has our Sunday focus.
This week, 10,000 workers at agriculture equipment manufacturer Deere & Company made their voices heard.
The cheap labor bubble is finally busted.
John Deere says it's committed to resolve the dispute with a favorable outcome for their employees. It's the first strike for the United Auto Workers Union in 35 years, and just the latest in a string of labor actions across the country. More than 24,000 employees at healthcare provider Kaiser Permanente have voted to authorize a strike. Food giant Nabisco recently agreed to terms with its employees as more than 1,000 workers at cereal maker Kellogg began their own strike. With more disputes looming across other industries, some are calling this month Striketober.
Our future is not for sale.
Demands across the board are similar. Better wages, better and safer working conditions.
We are seeing employers break out the same playbook where they're trying to offer bonuses or new perks to try to attract workers.
Workers are emboldened. They have more leverage as companies continue to struggle to hire enough employees. There are 50% more job openings today than pre-pandemic. And this intersects with another phenomenon, the Great Resignation. A record-breaking 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs in August alone, a 242,000 jump from July, and a 1.3 million jump from a year ago. With extended COVID unemployment benefits run out, workers are defying the experts who predicted a return to the workforce, with many choosing to walk away, even without a safety net.
Normally, we see quits rise when the labor market is hot, because that's when workers are best able to find other opportunities, or at least they feel confident in leaving their job currently because they know that another opportunity is just around the corner.
Low-wage industries like retail, food service, and healthcare, some of the hardest hit.
I think this last year and a half has really challenged us to look differently at the people aspect of business, really place the value in them.
Individual employees are motivated by many of the same things driving strikes. Better pay, better childcare, more flexibility, and safer conditions.
We definitely are seeing more employers actually acquiesce to worker demands because they know that right now it's a very tough situation in terms of being able to hire and retain talent.
Bottom line, employees want to be heard. And more, they are.
And Stephanie joins me now live. Steph, good morning. Great to see you. These strikes and quits point to an employee market. So how much of this has to do with the pandemic? What's the consensus, the working theory about why all this is happening now?
Willie, this is all about the pandemic, and we shouldn't be surprised. Historically speaking, traumatic events have caused major changes in the workforce landscape. And you have to remember, this isn't just a labor shortage, it's a labor shift. Some of the industries that are having the hardest time bringing employees back: leisure and hospitality, home health care workers, child care workers, small mom and pop retail businesses. Well, think back a year and a half. Those are the same businesses that laid off millions and millions of people. Lots of those people aren't sitting at home. They shifted into other industries completely. Think about Walmart, Target, Amazon. Those big box stores have hired millions of people to their distribution centers, and they're looking to hire more. And those are jobs that offer less one-on-one contact, which is a concern for people worried about COVID. They often pay more, and they offer benefits. So when you couple those things together, there's been a big labor shift, as well as people who are now working from home. There's more virtual jobs out there. And do not forget, COVID is not behind us. People have childcare issues and health concerns.
Another big way the world has changed during the pandemic. So interesting. Steph, thank you very much.
All right, shalom to the hopeful elect. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. All praises, honor, and glory be to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honor as always to Miyad, to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are the true teachers of Israel today and have labored faithfully in his truth. Peace, love, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Habayath, Madabada, the house of David, the brothers laboring on the four corners of the earth, day in and day out, to make their calling of election sure, helping seal the elect, of the nation of Israel, for the return of our Lord Hamashiach Yahushua is at hand, and to the Akim and Akwathim, the brothers and sisters who listen and believe on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, to you I say Shalom. So this is somewhat of an impromptu video. I saw these two, I saw the video in this article, and, I wanted to kind of put them together and just go into a very quick lesson. It's going to be very brief. I just wanted to get into the fact that this place, Babylon the Great, America is falling, This place is falling. So the fall of Babylon, is inevitable. There's nothing that's going to stop, the destruction of this place, because this is the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And it tells you that in the book of 2nd Ezra, who basically can offset the will of the Most High. Who could do such a thing? Let me see if I can get that real quick. Who could actually offset the will? Because it tells you in Romans the 9th chapter that who has resisted his will. So this is the will of the Most High. So I wanted to kind of harp on that. I did a video a little bit earlier going into the, something that was similar. But it was just basically going into, the fall of Babylon as well, as it pertains to the police force and the military, and more specifically getting into the state troopers that are resigning. Now we're seeing people as a whole, 3.4 million people quit their jobs in 1 month. So now we see all these things, are the beginning, of those great woes, those going into the plagues the scriptures speak of. The Lord said he was going to bring plagues to Egypt again, as before. In New Egypt, Babylon, America, So the Lord is just making good on his promises. And we're witnessing that. We have a front row seat, to seeing and watching the fall of Babylon. So now this is 2nd Ezra 16:1. Once again, this is somewhat of an impromptu video. I'm just going to go through the spirit. It says, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe unto thee, Egypt and Syria. See, this is the whole world, which lines up with the 13th chapter. Let's see if I can get it. This lines up with the 13th chapter of Isaiah. See, it says, woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee. Why is it speaking of all these various different nations? Woe be unto thee, Babylon, Asia, and Egypt, and Syria. So it's speaking about all the inhabitants of the world. But Babylon was named first, because these plagues are coming to Babylon because the Lord has a vendetta, with the wicked. He's the chief enemy of the Most High, which is Esau, the so-called white man. Now, here it is right here. It's Isaiah 13 and verse 11. It says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. So the Lord says he's going to punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. So now let's go back. 2nd Ezra 16:1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Continuing on. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. So the destruction of this man's system is at hand, which is going to cause the whole earth, to be in an uproar, for the whole earth to be in turmoil. That's why I said, woe be unto the world. It says, a sword is set upon you, and who may turn it back? So these plagues, death and destruction is coming. The race wars, nation rising against nation, Satan being against Satan, the Edomites against themselves. All these different various plagues that the Lord is brewing up. Who's going to be able to turn it back? Verse 4, a fire is set among you, and who may quench it? The fiery trials. Who's going to stop what the Most High, has proposed in his heart, which is his will? Who can offset the will of the Most High? No one. Plagues are sent, verse 5, plagues are sent unto you. And what is he that may drive them away? Who can drive these plagues away? Once again, Jacob's trouble, which consists of many things. The famine of the word, the famine of food. Once again, the great insurrections that are coming, the sedition among men, the overthrow of the government, the race wars, the civil war, the civil unrest, and ultimately the world war that's coming, World War III. May any man, verse 6, may any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire in the stubble when it have begun to burn. May one turn away or turn again the arrow that is shot of an archer. That's speaking of these missiles. Ultimately, World War III, who could stop those missiles when they're shot, from hitting their destination? From the wars that's going to ensue from when that first missile was shot off. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? So those are questions being asked. And the answer to that is no one. No one can drive these plagues away, because this is the hand of the mighty Lord. And the mighty Lord is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So no one can offset these things. So I just had a few precepts in the spirit. And I had this article up here, which goes hand in hand with all the workers, 3.4 million that have quit in the month of October that we are currently in. This is a worker in Florida applied to 60 entry-level jobs in September and got one interview. And I'm not going to even read the article because it speaks for itself. Yeah, all these places are saying now hiring, but you got a lot of people that's quitting. So what is that leading to? That's leading to more and more turmoil, as it concerns the economy. Because you have a lot of openings and not enough people that's willing to work those openings. Because a lot of people that's leaving these different jobs are not going back into these jobs because many of them have told the same people on numerous occasions that they couldn't work. They was laid off, and then they try to call them back. Many of those people went into other jobs, and then they left those jobs. So it's a big quagmire, which is a state of confusion that's going on because Babylon is known as the land of confusion. So it's only fitting that confusion, is taking this place out. So now, let's just hit a few precepts. That was one. Another one that comes to mind is Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. So Ecclesiastes 12:1, it says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, when the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun and the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Verse 3 and a point. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and these are the people, your economists, the world governments, economies, the S&P 500, the stock market, NASDAQ, the futures market. It says, and the strong men bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. So grinding work is beginning to cease because it is few. These are from all the plagues. And those that look out the windows be darkened. So that's the prospect of Babylon. People starting to see this place for what it truly is. People starting to see Babylon as nothing but a land of confusion, turmoil, the valley of the shadow of death. Crime is up 30-40% in all the major cities. How much more when you see the police force and people in the military quitting and troopers quitting? What is that going to lead to? More civil unrest, and all the race wars and all the other things is going to ensue because of that lack, of authority, that lack of order, that lack of authority. With the police, comes a certain level of authority and a certain level of keeping you people in order. So the lack of order and authority is going to lead to what? More crime, more death, which are all the plagues the Lord said was going to happen. Ecclesiastes 12:4. It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, the businesses shutting down, because how long can this go on before these businesses now who don't have enough people to work them, how long can they stay open? So you're only going to see certain businesses that are going to be open, certain grocery stores, certain retail stores, etc. And for all this entertainment, less and less entertainment. And we're going to read about it here in a second. Ecclesiastes 12:4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. So those are all the businesses. And the sound of grinding is low. I said it again. The sound of grinding work is low in the city. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music. Speaking of you Israelites, that's another term for you Israelites in the Bible. You're the daughters of music, because Jake loves to entertain, sing, dance. shuck and jive, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So you Israelites are going to be brought down very, very low. That's why it's called the time of Jacob's trouble. Let's get a few more. Another one that comes to mind is Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19, and I'll start at 14. It says, the Lord Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. So in the midst of this land is a perverse spirit, a backward spirit, a wicked, a very satanic off spirit that's in this land in Babylon. Once again, that's why it's known as Babylon the Great. It's a land of confusion. A spirit of confusion is within this land as well. And they have caused Egypt, which is another name for Babylon, America, to err in every work. So all of Babylon, every work of it thereof is in error. This is a land of sin. They even have a city called Sin City. Quite fitting for a place that is in error. It says, and as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Continuing on. So Babylon is like a drunk man that's staggering in his vomit. That's how this place is. Because it doesn't have any order. There's no morals. There's no ethics. This is nothing but a do as thou wilt spirit, which has led to what? To the Lord bringing these plagues upon this place. So God is never going to bless America because he's sanctioned for America to be destroyed. So for you people that's in that God bless America spirit, and you're going to be destroyed right with America, which is Babylon the Great. Verse 15, Isaiah 19 and 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt. So once again, it's speaking about work, grinding again. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail or branch or rush may do, from the top to the bottom. All sectors of this economy, this system of commerce and capitalism, is coming to an end. The Lord's about to destroy this place. See if I got another one. Zephaniah, that's another one. Zephaniah 1, and I'll finish it out. This is the book of Zephaniah 1 and verse 10. Continuing on, it says, and it shall come to pass that in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate. It says, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. So that great crashing is the prophecy of the second great economic collapse. There was one back in the 1920s, and there's another one that's coming now, which all falls in line with Jacob's trouble, in this time and this period of lawlessness that the Lord is going to bring upon the earth to reset the earth in righteousness. And ultimately, for the revenge of his temple, for the vengeance of the Lord's temple, which is the deliverance of the elect out of Babylon by way of Yahweh Shai, who is the Lord and Savior. So with that, I hope that was edifying. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash, double honor to the elders and apostles, them Yad always, who've labored faithfully in this truth, and are the true teachers of Israel today. Peace, love, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Habayath Madabadah, the house of David, the brothers laboring day in and day out, making their calling of election sure, and to the elect that's waking up, and to the Akim and Agwafium also, who listen and believe on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. To you I say Shalom.